3, 2, 1. Here we go. Creating my first audiobook. So yesterday I spent a few hours learning about audiobooks, and I think this is an incredibly huge area for authors or anyone who's looking to create books in audio format. I see, based on downloads and whatnot, that audiobooks are overtaking ebooks. I don't know if that's true, but I could see that as being true. As more people are looking to listen to books in their car, they're going to places like Audible, iTunes, and Amazon even to just grab the audiobook. And I see this as an incredible opportunity. So I decided, because I have this studio mic, to create my own audiobook. And that's what I did. So I did my first ever audiobook, and I did it for my children's book, Two Giraffes. So I think in a couple weeks, it'll actually be processed, it'll be accepted, and it'll be up on Amazon. So I'm really excited about that. And I just wanted to deep dive into this because I'm thinking there's a lot of books out there that don't have an audio format. There's a lot of books that don't have an audio format, and they need an audio format to increase their distribution. So I thought I'd share what I learned, but this is just my first attempt, so I'll probably have more on this because I'm thinking of looking at audiobooks in a number of different ways. But anyway, acx.com is what I checked out, which is the audiobook creators exchange, and you can go in as an author, and if you've got a book, you can get it narrated by a narrator, and you can ask for a sample, and then you can pay them by the production hour, or you can pay them by royalties. So you'd share the royalties of your audiobook sales with them. And as an author, you get 40% of the royalties of your audiobook sale, or you'll get 20% if you're splitting it with the narrator. And then that's for exclusive distribution, meaning through Audible, iTunes. Now, if you want non-exclusive, then you can get 25%. So those are some options there. I decided with my first book that I would go exclusive, so I go with the 40%. Not only that, I recorded my own book, which allows me to keep all of the royalty payments of that 40%. So I find that really valuable. Of course, not everyone can do that, and they'll split it. They'll gladly split it, and that's perfectly fine. But I like the fact that I keep the 40%. And if you would like to record as the narrator, I personally like it when the author is the narrator of a book, because there's more passion, there's more interest. Of course, some authors are quite dry, so it would make sense to outsource it to a narrator to do the work. But anyone could perhaps do the recording. If you're looking for more studio quality recording, it would make sense to hire someone. But of course, if you just want to get started, you can hit the your microphone, press record on any voice recorder that you have, and then just get going with it. Ideally, when you're recording, make sure the audio file is 192 kilobytes per second or higher. I ran into that issue in that my file wasn't allowed to be uploaded, so I had to convert my files on the internet. So you can convert your files if you don't have that particular quality of audio file. So you can definitely convert it afterwards. So that's what I did. And if you go into it and say you're planning on recording, you can actually do can actually do several files here. You can do a sample file so that people can check out what it sounds like. When I did it, I just talked about the description of my book. So that was my sample file. Because my book is only 30 pages, there's very little text, it's a picture book. So it's very unique that I'm actually doing an audiobook for a book of this size. But I want to stand out, so that's why I decided to create my own audiobook for this. But you can do the sample file, then you can do opening credits. So you can talk about the book, you can even thank everyone for joining in and tuning in. You can do the nice little intro, and then you can actually do chapters and sections. So you can split up the audio files by cutting down on the different files there. So you can do various chapters and then upload those. For me, because my book is short, I just did it all in one go, and then I just went ahead and uploaded it. And then the end part is the end credits. And this is where I would have like a call to action to encourage people to download your other work, to subscribe, to like you on social media, to leave reviews. This is a great opportunity to stand out. And I really love the setup of ACX. So it's acx.com. that I've been checking out, and I'm really enjoying it. I had so much fun creating my first audiobook because I was adding in special effects, different things that you wouldn't get just from reading the book yourself. So by adding in those extra elements, I think it's a huge advantage to be able to sell your book this way. What I really like, though, and I'm probably going to explore this more, is the ability to be a narrator. And I really like the idea of being able to record for others. So I could go in and charge by production hour or by royalty, and I can make a significant amount that way, because I see a lot of projects where it's like $100 to $200 per production hour. Well, if you can get several books under your belt, then you're making some nice cash to go along with all your other projects. So this is a nice little revenue stream. If you have a microphone, a decent quality microphone, you could be a narrator of many books. And you just have to click on a book, send a message to Audition. So the Audition is like a 15-minute sample that you would read of the book if you're accepted. But when I looked on the listings, I noticed there's 21,000 listings of authors looking for narrators. So there's a huge opportunity. The thing is, I'd be careful about going with the royalty share of 50%, because the book itself might never sell a copy. So you might never make the money back in terms of the time you put into it for recording. So ideally you would see sales of the book already, and then you'd say, okay, the book's already having sales and I see this continuing down the road. Then it would make sense to record. But what if the person unpublishes the book? Well, then, you've done all that work for nothing. So it depends, right? If you're looking for a long-term passive income stream, this is an opportunity, because if you can get royalties in perpetuity without having to really think about it, then this is an option. It's just be careful about doing books that aren't popular, books that might never see the light of day, because it's really dependent on the marketing of the author in order for you to get paid. So that would be something to consider. It's almost like a gamble of your time. But that being said, it is nice. You can crank out dozens, hundreds of recordings of books, and then all it takes is one to be successful, and then you've got yourself some nice passive income there. Really depends on your workflow and what you would prefer. I see the majority of the listings want royalty share, which makes me question the seriousness of the authors, because if they would just like royalty share, it means they're maybe not willing to invest in sales of the book. So again, I'd probably do a mix. I would test. This is new to me. I've never seen this before. I think this is definitely the next step after ebooks is audiobooks. So if someone's looking to make a career out of something, then perhaps audiobooks would be the way to go, because I think audio and voice are two areas where there's some opportunity. Certainly with 21,000 books available to audition for, it's an incredible market to be an author / narrator of these books. So I'm excited to dig into it, perhaps add an additional revenue stream, because, if you can read a book for an hour and then make $200 to $400 for that, that's a nice chunk of change. So that's something to consider. To improve your profile, say you want to be known as like a professional narrator. I believe, I have to look into this, but it is like if you have 25 samples, so you have like 25 audio samples of your work online, then you become like a professional certified narrator. So then that improves your credibility. So just gives you a little bit more clout in the market, and people will take you more seriously. If you're just getting started, it might be tough to get a few of those auditions. I've yet to really experiment with it, so we'll see what happens from it. But you've got multiple options, whether you're an author or narrator. You can be on there and add revenue streams, and this is the way to do it. To look at areas where maybe most people aren't looking. We take it for granted that audiobooks are just another distribution method, but it's a distribution method that allows many opportunities to make additional revenues. So I would have it, if you have a number of books, I would perhaps start converting some of them to audiobooks, so that you have additional options. On Amazon, you'll have the option to list audiobooks, paperback, your digital edition. So if you cover all those bases, then you're going to increase your sales and distribution. And I think that's really important. From a marketing perspective, that's going to add much more value to what you're doing. So this is just my first session on creating my first audiobook, but I'm excited to be talking more about it, to learn more about it, and I hope this was educational for you, and maybe it sparked some sort of an interest, something that you're thinking, I need to check this out, and I hope you do. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.